Howdy everyone, this is Mopbot and welcome back to a new redstone design. This behind me is a very simple and totally flush sugarcane farm. This was featured in the latest episode of the Diamond Society, so if it looks pretty familiar, I came up with it as I was creating that episode and I thought I would do a step-by-step tutorial to share it with y'all. And if y'all thought it looked simple from the front, take a look at it from the back. Very simple. Let's go ahead and start building this thing. So for starters here, we have a line of fence posts like this. Now this can technically be any block, but fence post makes it just look a little bit more cleaner in my opinion. So I've run this across 15 blocks, which I recommend you do as well. That's the maximum that a redstone line will cross, so it makes it the easiest in my opinion. It makes the best use of how much space you have. And then we're going to run on top of each one of those fence posts a line of sandbox, and that's going to go all the way across. We're then going to come around the back here, and wherever you want the sugarcane to get dumped off to, we're going to come up and we want a piston diagonally and then up one so that we can place the sugarcane plant right here, and then it can grow up and get knocked off by that piston right there. And then these pistons need to run all the way across so that it comes down to the end of the line like so. And then on top of this last one, we want to come around the other side and place an observer block so that it's facing over here and it can listen for when a sugarcane has reached the third height. If we come around here now, we want to come back one so that we're at the same height as the pistons, run any kind of block all the way down. We just can't use half slabs or a block that redstone dust cannot be placed on. And then we're going to come back through and place redstone dust on all of those. And this is why we did it 15 blocks long, so that when this pulse hits here, it's going to go all the way down and power all of the pistons. Now when we want to add another layer, we're going to come out one block diagonally from this observer block here. So if we look at it from the top, we have a fence post that is over one and to the right one from where that observer is. And then we're going to run these all the way across. So this bottom layer is 15, but every layer after that needs to be 14. And that's so that we can get this sort of diagonal thing going with the observer blocks and that nothing interferes with each other. So we're going to do the same thing now. We have a whole line of fence posts and we're going to have sand on top of that going all the way across like so. And then we're going to come up behind it and place a piston right there. And now these pistons need to go all the way down. Again, that's going to be 14 blocks going down. So your resources are going to be 14 of each and then one extra on this bottom layer here. So we have pistons here. Our plant is going to go right here. We come across behind it and we're going to start placing blocks like so. And this time the observer needs to go on this end. It was down there before, so this time we're going to face the opposite direction, place it there, and then start running our redstone down as well. And with the rest of that layer in here, I went ahead and added one more layer on top of it. It's completely a mirror image, and this really shows you just how we're going to be doing this alternating observer block thing. So we have the observer here that we placed before, and now we come out one block diagonally once again toward the inside. We put fence posts going all the way down, and then we go one past that piston. And that's important because if you only go to where the piston is, we're going to be getting one smaller each time going up. So we need to account for that extra space, and it's going to line up right with that observer block that's below it. And then we did the same thing. We have a sand block line going across here. We skip a block and then go back one for our piston line coming through. On top of that, we have an observer, and then behind that, we have redstone dust on top of blocks going all the way over. Now, I've also gone through and outlined where we're working with here, and this is the outline of the project. And if you look back here, this is only 3 blocks wide. So we're going to come behind here now. We're going to start adding the water in. We need blocks behind where all of these fence posts are, and I'm just going to use these for that so you can see what's going on there, and it will be flush and nice and clean from the front. And along the back here, I'm just going to throw in some glass so you can see where all the water sits. This comes all the way over. We just want to close this in so we have this nice little pool here. This is the same as pretty much every sugarcane farm, and we're just going to fill this up with water. You can use running water, you do not have to use sources. And then we're going to go through here and we're going to stick all the sugarcane in on the sand. So we do need the water there in order to have the sugarcane right there. And then this is going to grow up once it gets to where this observer block is. These are all going to push, and all of these are going to end up down here. So we're going to have some sort of collection system down here. And then we can go ahead and do the exact same thing for all of the other layers. And now that we're on the third layer, I did just as before. I have the concrete wherever you can see this from the front. So that's right here on top of the piston. and right behind the fence post over here. And then I use glass so you can see very clearly where the water sits. Now we can also come behind all the sugarcane and we can place more solid blocks right there because we don't want to be seeing through that, and that goes for every layer. We can block all this off now that we have the water in there. We couldn't do that at the beginning, otherwise you wouldn't actually be able to get in to place the water. And if we do that along the bottom as well, we fill it up, and then it's going to be nice and clean looking from the front. Now I also recommend coming to your very top layer, and up here, this line that goes across here, right next to where that observer block is, go ahead and place some extra fence posts. It's not entirely crucial, and it makes a very, very small difference. But when this starts to grow, if there's nothing blocking it, it's going to grow all the way up. And if it grows all the way up, that means that when this observer powers all of these, it's going to hit them from the middle, and the top ones aren't actually going to get pushed. The top items are just going to fall right down, and you're going to have a ton of items collecting up here. Like I said, it's not a big difference, but over time, you may notice a bit of an impact from that. Another recommendation I have when using this farm is for the collection system. Since these are all going to get pushed out, you don't want them just to fly out as far as they possibly can. We're going to go ahead and skip a block from the sugarcane here. So we're going to have a gap of 1 like this. We want them to come over here, hit this block, and drop right down. So we're basically just building a little wall so that nothing can get past it. And then we can go ahead and place our hoppers right here. And anything's going to hit that wall, fall right down, and go right into our hoppers. You could also use a water line or however you want, but regardless of how you do your collection, I recommend this wall so that you don't have to worry about a large area where items might fall. And the final recommendation I have for this farm is to build these back to back, because this third block back here can be used the same in both farms. So you're saving on some resources by doing this. This whole redstone line can power 2 lines of pistons. This block here is the replica of that block there. And then this line blocking all the water in right there can block in both sides. So when we put water there and close it all in, and we can grow our plant right here, these 2 farms are going to act together. And we don't even need to add another observer block if we do this, because we already have one over here that's going to power this whole line and power all the pistons on this side as well. So you're going to save on some resources when you build these back to back like this. So anyway, hopefully y'all have enjoyed and have found this useful. Go ahead and subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all next time.